Making headlines tonight. Local banks need to be more willing to lend towards tourism and agricultural development. Concerns over the impact of violent crimes on the Barbadian workforce. Tourism authorities satisfied with government's response to outbreak of the deadly coronavirus. And coming up in sports, Hetmeyer and Lewis could make the Windies team after all.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley wants to see banks lending more funds towards developmental initiatives in the areas of tourism and agriculture. The Prime Minister made the comment as she fielded questions during the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry's first business luncheon for the year at the Hilton Barbados. Ryan Broom was at that luncheon and joins us live now with more details. Good evening, Ryan.
Well, good evening, Shane. Well, Prime Minister Motley says with excess liquidity still very evident in the local banking sector, the ability of banks lending more aggressively in those areas is absolutely necessary.
I know they have an appetite for the renewable energy market because that's seen as a clear one. But there are a number of other areas in agriculture. Two Saturdays ago, we went through the economics of string beans. Because when I was a child, we didn't eat broccoli. We had string beans. You can't see string beans across Barbados now. And Cynthia Ford will tell you that the amount of land she has in St. Thomas and elsewhere and all over this island, that the government is going to be actively promoting the engagement for food security by ordinary members and using the Agricultural Development Fund that you'll hear more about to be able to ask people to come on board to help us expand production on a number of key areas of food and vegetables.
And Ms. Motley says there are therefore a number of opportunities that Barbadians can capitalize on in agriculture.
There's no reason, if you can plant string beans that will grow in 6 weeks, and you will spend no more than $4,000 to $5,000 on an acre to tend to those string beans in that 6 to 8 weeks. But you can, string beans selling at $11 a kilogram, and the yield per acre is 2,200 kilograms per acre. Do the maths. So you're going to walk away after 6 to 8 weeks with about $15,000 at least. Now, if people know that, nobody should be hungry in this country and nobody should be without work in this country.
Prime Minister Motley also says she cannot guarantee that there will be no more increases in fees or taxes, but government will continue to be sensitive in all that it does.
Part of the difficulty is that Barbados became accustomed to no one wanting to confront the issue of increasing a fee, even if it was by $2 or $1 or whatever it is. And we didn't increase fees in almost everything for 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years. Bus fares weren't increased for how long? Over 15, 20 years. So that I am not going to give any assurance to anyone that there will be no taxes or no increases.
Well, the Prime Minister gave an assurance should any increases be contemplated.
Whatever increase there is will be justified on the basis of prudence, stability. We are sensitive to the fact that we want to increase disposable income in this country because governments don't trade, governments don't grow on their own. Individuals do, companies do. And if we tax them out of existence, nobody will grow. So I can give you the assurance that the government is sensitive to the condition of households and companies and will ensure that whatever decisions we take with respect to revenue adjustment will not in any way topple the apple cart.
Now, Shane, during that luncheon, the Prime Minister also responded to questions about any additional layoffs, but again could not say outright that it may or may not arise as an issue in the future. And finally, she has again urged Barbadians to stay the course, noting that the country has come a long way since 2018, and if everyone remains committed, it will ultimately redound to the benefit of all Barbadians. So just a snippet of some of the Chamber's luncheon today, which was also addressed by Senior Technical Advisor to the Government of Barbados, Dr. Kevin Greenidge. And of course, we'll have much more from this event in subsequent newscasts. But for now, it's back to you, Shane.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Barbados has been told the upsurge in violence and gun-related crimes not only affects the workforce, but can lead to possible increases in workplace violence. The Barbados Employers Confederation has engaged a number of key stakeholders, including the Barbados Workers Union, the Institute for Gender Development Studies, and the Royal Barbados Police Force, to host a Violence in the Workplace seminar. President Yvonne Hall says employers must ensure they are equipped to deal with any eventuality.
We seem to be faced with a more aggressive society which, when coupled with the harsh economic realities faced by Barbadians, could lead to increased workplace violence, including an increase in robberies. While it has been reported by police that major crime overall declined in 2019, the level of violence in society is still of significant concern, as it affects people from all walks of life in our society and, by extension, the perception of our tourism product.
Participants at this seminar were brought up to date on the International Labour Organization's new convention, which improves protection of workers facing violence and harassment. That convention was adopted in June last year. Minister of Labour and Social Partnership Relations Colin Jordan sees it as essential for issues such as violence and harassment in the workplace to be stamped out. He says the elimination requires participation from a variety of players.
Today we have Convention 190. And I can proudly say that Barbados made a significant contribution to the process that led to the final text. Convention 190 states that the term violence and harassment in the world of work, we've heard it before, I'm going to repeat it. It refers to a range of unacceptable behaviors and practices or threats thereof, whether a single occurrence or repeated, that aim at, result in, or are likely to result in physical, psychological, sexual, or economic harm, and includes gender-based violence and harassment.
Improved response time is expected to be a major benefit of the planned move of the Barbados Fire Services headquarters from the city. Information Minister Senator Lucille Moe made the point while introducing a resolution to lease the National Insurance Board's land at Pine Plantation Road for the construction of the new headquarters. She says the proposed spot, while still in a central location, is less congested.
It still leaves it within the environs of the areas it currently services. It actually gives it an opportunity to get in and out with a level of speed that may not now be present, simply because you're not trying to come out of a busy area and back into a busy area, but sometimes where you're servicing is not even within that busy area.
The land will be leased for a period of 30 years, beginning from the construction of the building. Senator Moe also gave further details on the agreement.
It shall be an operating lease, which includes maintenance of the lands on which the fire station will be constructed, and it will be rented by the National Insurance for the sum of Barbados $100 per year.
In his response, Opposition Senator Caswell Franklin expressed concerns over the earmarked location for the new Barbados Fire Service headquarters.
It's to provide a public green space. But when that fire service leaves Bridgetown and there's a fire in Bridgetown, trying to get back in here in traffic, you can end up with some public black space, because that's what's going to happen. That is called Central Fire Station, you know. It's called Central Fire Station for a reason, because it's centrally located.
Senator Franklin also questioned the decision to use national insurance funds to construct the building.
We are using national insurance funds that are put aside for your pension and my pension and the pension of everybody in Barbados, and you are taking them up every so often, and you're talking about investments. But you're investing too much in buildings. You don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Meanwhile, Government Senator Rudy Grant is expecting positive spin-offs for the country and Barbadians with the numerous planned tourism development projects. He, however, cautioned the expected jobs will not come overnight.
There is the Sam Lord's Castle proposal with the Wyndham Hotel, a project, sir, which we expect would be starting, well, some aspects of it has already started. There'll be in excess of 400 rooms, and the expectation is that you will have a situation where between 900 and 1,000 people will be employed when that hotel is completed. And I believe that the government of Barbados has signaled that they are prepared to allow another entity to take over that project. We have the Hyatt Ziva. The construction of this hotel, sir, is expected to start within the first 6 months of this year.
Senator Grant says Barbados has limited space and must take advantage of what's available. He proposes a carrying capacity study be conducted for the tourism sector.